We have some breaking news this hour. Special counsel Jack Smith is seeking a gag order in the Mar-a-Lago classified documents case. Smith made the request of federal judge Aileen Cannon tonight after Donald Trump this week falsely suggested that language in the FBI search warrant of Mar-a-Lago, the one that was used to search his Florida property in the summer of 2022, that language was actually a secret attempt by President Biden to use the FBI to assassinate Trump. This is from the motion this evening from special counsel's office. The law enforcement agents participating in this case conducted the search in an appropriate and professional manner, subject to the department's standard use of force policy. Trump's repeated mischaracterization of these facts and widely distributed messages as an attempt to kill him, his family, and Secret Service agents has endangered law enforcement officers involved in the investigation and prosecution of this case and threatened the integrity of these proceedings. A restriction prohibiting future similar statements does not restrict legitimate speech. Trump's conditions of release should therefore be modified to prohibit similar communications going forward. Joining me now on the phone is Lisa Rubin, our MSNBC legal correspondent. Lisa, what is your reaction to this filing by the special counsel's office?
Alex, I'm surprised to see the filing by the special counsel's office only because they have generally been thwarted at most turns by Judge Aileen Cannon when they've gone on the offensive against former President Trump with respect to his conduct in this case. Earlier this week, as you might remember, in a hearing on a motion to dismiss, Judge Cannon was very harsh with the special counsel's office just in terms of their rebutting the characterization of a meeting between Walt Nauda's lawyer and Department of Justice lawyers. And at one point, David Harbach of the special counsel got visibly frustrated, saying to her, "It's just not right," after she asked him to calm down. On the other hand, if there were ever a situation justifying a gag order, this week's comments about the FBI and the attachment to that search warrant definitely warrant it. You'll note that that same FBI policy was attached to the search with respect to President Biden's own Delaware residence. So this is not a situation where the former president was treated any differently than anyone else would be with respect to a search of their residence.
Yeah, and Lisa, you know, this week we haven't had actually a chance to play it this hour, but Merrick Garland, the Attorney General, who is allergic to confrontation, lest it be seen as political, came out and said publicly, you know, these kind of comments are dangerous and they are unacceptable. That was a very unusual step for the Attorney General to take, and evidence of how seriously the Department of Justice is taking this rhetoric on Trump's behalf, and by the way, on the behalf of other Trump allies.
Yeah, the Attorney General has been very circumspect, Alex, as you've noted, with respect to investigations run by various special counsels. So for him to come forward and say that, you're right, is a deviation from how Merrick Garland has typically conducted himself. That having been said, you'll remember that in the wake of the initial Mar-a-Lago search, there were violent actions taken against at least one FBI office I can remember in the middle of the country. Certainly, there have been other actions in recent months taken against various actors who have played some part in the various legal dramas concerning and surrounding former President Trump. That's everyone from New York Attorney General Letitia James to Judge Arthur Engoron, who is a state court judge who presided over his civil fraud trial. There have been multiple threats, as well as escalating rhetoric against Judge Juan Merchan, who's overseeing the ongoing criminal trial against President Trump right now. In fact, President Trump has been attacking him tonight on his Truth Social, and that includes Alvin Bragg, the Manhattan District Attorney, as well. And so I imagine that the special counsel's office is particularly mindful of the ways in which former President Trump's rhetoric has endangered law enforcement officials all throughout the country, and culminating in this most recent attack on the FBI and President Biden.
Yeah, you know, I do wonder, though, Lisa, as we sit sort of at the end of the New York City hush money trial, where there was a gag order and one that was highly contested by President Trump, whether we think gag orders work in the age of Trump, where if he can't say it, then he can get his minions to do it. I mean, Steve Bannon is already parroting this notion that Biden is out to assassinate Trump. We saw that Speaker Johnson has no problem impugning the entire judiciary if it serves Donald Trump's interests. And I just wonder how effective you think a gag order can be politically.
Look, there's no question that the gag order, as much as former President Trump says that it's unconstitutional, absolutely constrained his own talk about certain individuals. That having been said, when you have folks like Senator Tuberville admit on other outlets that they are deliberately taking actions to help former President Trump overcome that gag order, you're right. There's only so much that a gag order can do when the former president's allies, and even beyond that, want to go and help him do that. That's not anything that a gag order can necessarily control.
Yep. Lisa Rubin, thank you for springing into action tonight